inviting us to be a part of this, and obviously the program committee for giving us this time. Also, I'd like to thank the board. It's always an honor to talk to colleagues and friends. I know what you said about Dario already, but I can't stand here without saying a few more things. Organizations are in struggle these days. You know that. They're all in struggle. In fact, if you're not in struggle, there's something wrong with you. Because if you're not in struggle, you're not positioning yourself for the world that's around us and the world that's going to come. So being in struggle is the right place to be. But it doesn't mean everybody survives the struggle. And I must say, I am very proud that ODN is continuing to survive the struggle because of people like Daria who are putting life and energy in there. And Daria has made tremendous sacrifices over these last few years for this organization. This has been her life. And although you've applauded her numerous times already, I would really ask you to join me again to applaud her for the sacrifice she has made for us. So Judith and I have been learning a ton this last several years, or probably all our lives, including these last several years. It's been fun, it's been exciting, we've been working with exciting clients, we've been doing wonderful things, and just learning. And many people say it, but it's true for us, we learn more for our clients than we ever give our clients. And we're going to share with you some of what we're learning, and some of the new stuff that we're thinking about. And stuff we're just experimenting with, we're just playing around with. So we're going to ask you to join us in some experimentation, some thinking, but thinking that we think really moves how people interact. And to us, it's all about the interactions. And we know that a lot of what we talk about, others have been before us, and others' shoulders we're standing on. And we know that what we have learned from them has enabled us to pull together some things in a certain way that we can share with others. And there's no way I can list all the shoulders, all the people, that thin line of change that goes through history, where people are changing agents to bring about change in the world. We're a part of that, you're a part of that, these people are a part of it. People like Herb Shepard, Bob Tannenbaum, Edie Seashore, who's in the room, Dick Beckhardt, Billy Albany, who's in the room, Barbara Bunker, who's in the room, Alice Sargent, Peter Block, Tony Petrella, Myra Weisborg, Cleo Jameson, Bob Chin, Elsie Cross, and many, many others, who have been just absolutely significant in changing the way the world operates, changing the world of work and changing the world outside of work. And it's on their shoulders, it's in their company, it's breathing air with many of them that enables us to be who we are. And we never take for granted, we never assume that it's about us, it's about the we. And it's about us coming together and bringing our thinking together. That's one of our messages today, is that we as a community need to work together, partner together, and think together so that we can continue to bring the value added that this field has brought and needs to bring in the future to this world. And with that, I'll turn it over to Judith.
All right, hi everyone.
Hi.
So we've done our welcome, here we are. Mike and Mayan talked a lot about growth. And for us, it really is about growth. I mean, this work is about growth. We're trying to help our clients grow. And the issue is how are we growing as well. One of the things that I'm aware of as we think about transforming, and I love the word about transformation, is that so many things that we're experiencing today are really crumbling. So if we look at social systems, if we look at organizations, if we look at governments, if we look at all the things around us, Mario Howard Devereaux, who wrote Navigating the Badlands, talked about how we're in this midst of a 75-year change cycle, and we're probably going to be about year 50. So much of what we're experiencing is shifting before our eyes. And I think the challenge for all of us as we're growing ourselves is to find that grounding in who we are so we can actually be effective change agents. So one of the things we'll talk about today is growing ourselves, growing our teams, growing our businesses, growing our clients. How do we do that? This is a quote, actually, that Hal Yo, who is the CEO of Dayton Zimmerman. Dayton Zimmerman is a $5 billion family-owned business that Fred sits on the board of. And it was interesting because Hal was doing bonuses for his top team. And one of his senior leaders who had done phenomenal in terms of growing the business did not get a significant bonus. And the leader was like, what's this about? And Hal said to the leader, you didn't grow yourself. So if you don't grow yourself, this is a short-term success. Because your business is growing, but you won't have the capabilities you need to be able to successfully guide that business and develop that business. So from Hal, we really learned, and we learned a lot, as Fred said, from our clients, about are you growing yourself, are you growing your team, and then grow your business. And for us, that's been one of the trademarks as we think about working with our clients. That's been is so important. And I think about Dario when we worked, when one of the client systems that we had together. And the leader had significantly grown through the work that you did in such a way that he was really capable of growing that business. But so often we focus on the business, which is critical. But can we focus on the business if we don't help them leaders to grow and ourselves to grow along with that? So we'll talk a lot this afternoon about how we're growing ourselves. How are we showing up in a way that's enabling us to have the courage to be big? And with that, I'd like to actually, I know everybody's got Be Big in their book, in their bag, so we're going to read from it. Page 1, if anybody wants to follow along.
We like read-alongs.
We like read-alongs. It's kind of like, makes it easy. So as Fred and I were thinking about writing Be Big, and we really thought a lot about how do we show up big as individuals? How do we help see others as big and not have blinders, because sometimes people are big and we don't see the bigness that they have? And how do we help teams really grow to be their biggest self? We actually found this quote, which I'd like to read to you. So it's on page 1. Again, it's not rude to read along. The need to be big. I am daring you to think bigger, to act bigger, and to be bigger. I dare you to think creatively. I dare you to lead and inspire others. I dare you to build character. I dare you to share. And I am promising you a richer life and a more exciting life if you do. So a lot of the theme from today will be about how much are we showing up big? How much are we enabling others to be that big self that they can be? And what I love about this quote was it was written by, when I found it, William Danforth, who was the CEO of the Ralston Purina Company, and it was written in 1931. So in some ways, these concepts of growth that Mayan and Mike talked about, these notions about how we and who we can be, have been with us. The question becomes, how does that happen in today's context, in today's world, as things are changing so rapidly, as things are changing under our feet? And then the only second thing I'd like to kind of move to is why this is so important today in our clients, and that'll be page 2 and 3. Organizations need us to bring more of ourselves to work. This is a snippet from it. I'll read a little bit more here. Many of us know a secret that is rarely spoken. Too many of us in most organizations are hiding things, important things. We are hiding our full selves. Sometimes we just hide parts of ourselves. Sometimes we hide all of ourselves. By not letting our full selves be seen, we make ourselves small. Yet within many of us is often another secret, an even bigger secret. Many of us have a strong desire to be big, to give our best every day, to not hide out or be small. To be big is not about ego or fame. It's not about showing off or showing others up. Many of us want to be big in order to bring our voice and add great value, and to enable our coworkers and partners to do the same. To be big is a life stance of learning and growing and partnering with others. To be big is a life stance of learning and growing and partnering with others. And one of the things that we found in our client systems as we've introduced the notions about being big is people start looking at the ways in which they're small. So I would invite you and encourage you to think about, are there ways in which kind of you're showing up not as big as you would like to be? Are there ways in which you're not bringing your voice as a consultant or someone who can see possibilities, but because of fear or other dimensions, we don't speak up to the extent that we need to? And how are you helping your clients really be able to be their big selves so that people can bring all of themselves to the organization? Fred's going to talk a little bit more about how we do some of that.
So our focus has been on the interaction, that interface between one person and another. And what do we need to do to enhance that interaction? And we'll talk some about the day here, and we'll talk a lot more about it in our concurrent session. But that interaction is the critical item and unit of change in our organizations as well as success in our organizations. And that interaction starts for us with people saying hello to one another and greeting one another. It's surprising to us how many times in organizations people walk down the halls and don't speak to one another in the same organization. How are you going to have a team, or how are you going to have a community when people don't speak to one another? If you live somewhere and you never speak to your neighbors, you don't feel like you're part of a community. If you live somewhere and they say hello to you, then it means something, and it has some meaning for you. Or if leaders say, people are our greatest asset, and talk on the stage and say how wonderful it is, and then they walk down the hall and they don't say hi to anybody they pass. Over and over again, we hear stories like that, where people are not speaking, and it's that team, it's that community. We worked with United Airlines before, when they were in bankruptcy, before they became the #1 airline in the world. And I was meeting with Glenn Tilden, the CEO, and I was explaining to him what was going on and some of the struggles that were happening in the organization. And he said, Fred, what I need is a community of effort. And I love that. What I need is a community of effort. I think that's what an organization is. That's what an organization needs to be. It needs to be a community of effort towards mission, vision, and strategy. If you don't have that community of effort, if you got a group of individuals isolated, I'm on the board of our local college, and I was at a board meeting yesterday, the day before, and they were talking about classrooms, and they're redoing the library, making it a learning center, which many schools are doing. And they talk about, well, we have to make a learning center where we have lots of collaborative space, because that's how people learn. And that the research is coming in now that says people working with others in collaboration exceed people working individually. Many of our organizations haven't quite figured that out yet, but that is where the future is. And that is where the future is in this field. How can we be more and more collaborative? So interaction, we see interactions on a systems level. We'll work with our clients and say, how do you need to reinforce people interacting through the systems that you have in the system? How do you institutionalize it? How do you do it on a group level, both on identity group level as well as other team levels and department levels and unit levels? And what are some of the rules and the needs around around interaction there? And then what does the individual need to do as they interact with their colleagues? And that's really a cornerstone of our work right now. So it starts with hellos, so we're going to do hellos. The other thing is, one of the people I'm in love with in the world is Peter Block. If you know Peter Block, you're probably in love too. And one of the things that, Peter's a crazy man. I've known Peter somewhere since the 70s. And he would be appalled by this room, where we're all sitting in little rows, all together, all organized. Like, okay, this is how creativity and innovation really happens. Not. So we're going to do hellos, and I'll say that in a minute. And then when you get back to your chair, if there's empty chairs around you, let's just get them out the way. Let's make the room messy, okay? We don't need to be neat. Change is not neat. Learning is not neat. But we sit in rooms like neatness has some value. What we're going to think of. So we're going to do hellos first. When we get back, don't get all nested in with all your stuff around you. But if there's empty chairs around, let's kind of throw those over to the side, and then just kind of sit any kind of way. Move chairs, we got to keep some kind of aisle for fire safety, but we don't know that space on the side. Let's just kind of get messy here. But first we're going to do hellos. So we're all going to stand up, and I say everything out of your hands, so you can leave the stuff on the seat of your chair for now. And just go around, I'm just going to give us a couple of minutes, just go around and say hi to people. Say hi to as many people as you can say in the next couple of minutes.